Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean on Boxing. Glad to be back after my vacation to Thailand. Yes, I don't look that dark, but at 57 years old, you don't spend so much time laying in the sun anymore. So, of course, I got some sun, but I didn't go out of my way to lay in the sun. I mostly enjoyed my opportunity to get out of Taiwan and get away from the rain. But I'm glad to be back. Hope everyone's doing well. So tonight we're talking about, of course, pound for pound contender Shiro Teraji, who's defending his unified titles tonight against Sandoval. Um, should be a good fight, and obviously, being a Japanese fight, it's midweek because for some reason Japan loves midweek fights. How are you set up for the tsunami? Yeah, I just saw there's a huge potential tsunami out there, so everybody be careful. I think Taiwan. I don't think the tsunami is going to impact me on YouTube. I haven't seen any weather reports from Taiwan news talking about a potential tsunami. Uh, I think mostly it's going to be directed towards North America, right? And obviously all the islands in between. But hopefully everyone is okay and it's not so bad. I mean, the last time we had a tsunami, obviously Indonesia and Thailand were destroyed because of it. And it was interesting because obviously I was on Phuket Island last week, and Phuket Island has like signs everywhere for tsunami warnings and where you need to go if there's a tsunami, and they have a big system that's very loud that triggers warnings so that everybody could hear if there is a potential tsunami coming. So they definitely are more prepared now than they were before. You've been MIA. I've been in Thailand on vacation. You on the north side of the island. Uh, I'm on in Taiwan, so I don't think there's going to be any impact to me at all in Taiwan, because obviously Russia is here, and the tsunami is going to be heading out that way. Taiwan is over here, so I think we're safe. And so far, I haven't heard anything. What's up, Jaime? I critique your takes, but hope all is good. Hey, no problem, man. You know, I, this is an environment, a community where we can talk boxing and we can disagree. My thing is, when I look at some people and I see comments they leave on John Boxing's channel ridiculing and down talking me, then that's an issue, because you're just a sneaky fucking rat, right? And, there's no need for that kind of stuff. Northwest would be best, I think. Thought it hit east of you. Well, I don't even know. Taiwan is here. Japan is here. Russia is up there. So I figure the tsunami is going that way, towards North America. I don't think Boots is a duck, but many do. Do you like him trying to fight Josh Kelly at 154 for his first fight? Welcome back. What's up, Raf? To be fair, I don't see what's in it for Josh Kelly. If I was Josh Kelly, why would I fight Boots Ennis? It's pointless. Right now, he's the number one contender for the WBO title to fight Xander Zayas. Why wouldn't you just wait for your opportunity to fight Xander Zayas for a legitimate WBO world title? Why would you take on a risky opponent like Boots Ennis for no title, just to put yourself in position to get a world title? You're already in position. So unless the WBO mandates that fight, which I don't think is the situation, uh, I don't think I would be jumping at that opportunity at all if I was him. Hollow Ninja, thank you very much. You're a prince. Sean Newton, Usyk, Inui, Crawford, Nakatani, Taraji, Bam, Shakur are all doing great work. Wish nothing but the best for these beautiful brothers. Well, that's the thing, right? As a boxing fan, as long as fighters are staying busy, taking on great opposition, what's the issue, right? That's all we want. We just want to see guys take on the best opponents possible. Example, Devin Haney fighting, what's his face? How come I never can remember his name? Not Howard. Why can't I ever remember the brother's name? WBO welterweight champion. But I mean, obviously, that's a great fight. And I already talked. I thought Devin Haney potentially could win that fight. This fight's coming on now. It's not coming on now. It's coming on later tonight. So right now here it's 11:30. So probably 7 hours from now. It'll be on. Brian Norman, thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know for some reason why his name always escapes me. My guy Virgil Ortiz just blatantly ducked Murtazaliev, and Oscar helped him do it too. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, you can understand why none of those guys want Murtazaliev. He's super dangerous, and there's not a lot of big name recognition or money on the table. Obviously, he's looking for a fight versus Boots Ennis or what's his face, a Fun Duro. But yeah, I mean, it just shows you. I mean, all these dudes are afraid to get in the ring with Murtazaliev. Ninja, I doubt he ducked. See, that's a completely different take on Boots and Kelly's situation. I didn't hear anybody see it in Kelly's situation. Well, of course not. People always looking for fucking the duck, whether it's people that hate Black American fighters and they're looking for a reason to ridicule them, or whatever it may be. The reality is, obviously, we were hoping to see Boots Ennis fight Virgil Ortiz, right? That's the fight we want. That's the fight that in America fucking sells and moves the needle. No other fight is as significant as that fight. Any other fight is going to be disappointing. But to be fair, if they both get midterm fights on before stepping in to take on that fight on a Turki Al Sheikh fight card, who could blame them? At the end of the day, as long as we get Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz, I don't think anyone's going to be in a position to really complain, because that's obviously the fight everybody's hoping for. Yeah, Raf, I saw Duarte versus Sims on Saturday is decent. This isn't a bad week of cards. We're going to talk about, obviously, tonight, Wednesday, Friday from Venezuela. There's a good fight. And I don't know how about the card, but the main event is a very good fight. And then, obviously, that whole Duarte Sims fight card on Saturday. And who else is on that? Regis Prograis versus Jojo Diaz as well. So overall, it's not the biggest and baddest weekend of boxing, but there's some real decent fights. Did Tio turn down 11 million for a fight with Haney? I don't know. I mean, obviously, Devin Haney fanboys are going to be pushing that hard, but the reality of the situation is, I mean, Tio has always been the worst fucking thing for his career. Every move he makes just fucking puts another nail in his coffin. And now, basically, what has he done? He's kind of alienated himself from Turki Al Sheikh, which means where the fuck does that guy have to go next? Hello Ninja, thank you very much. Happy Bud Crawford Whoop Spence Day, everybody. You're petty. Funduro Virgil get made? No, I don't think it gets made. Obviously, the PBC is going to move Funduro in a different direction. That's why I think at the end of the day, the fight that is going to be made is going to be Virgil versus Boots. Josh Kelly is actually a very skilled fighter. He has just difficulty against relentless pressure fighters, which Boots isn't. Yeah, come on. Josh Kelly was exposed early on in his career and hasn't fucking progressed or improved at all. Rosa Takami tomorrow in Japan. Well, yes, today. Today my time. Maybe tomorrow your time. That's on the undercard of the Ken Shiro fight against Sandoval. Championship Insight. What's up? Welcome. You still remember the last 5 years, Sean, with the Spence fan base? We were going back and forth with these guys over the internet for years. Well, the irony is, I've seen John Boxing recently coming out and talking about all the racism against Bud Crawford, and he used like one quote that he found on the internet and just fucking made multiple videos with that one quote. Yet the irony is, if you go to his channel, you find people on his channel leaving the same kind of comments about me. And he's okay with that. The hypocrisy, right? But the irony is, the people who hated on Bud Crawford's resume the most have been Errol Spence fans. For 5 fucking years building up to that fight, all those guys did was belittle and shit all over Bud Crawford's resume. Guys like Knockout Boxing, Fan Boxing, Ego, and many others. But John always wants to make this into some sort of race thing. Salute. Sean, why are these clowns giving Boots a hard time? I can understand people being disappointed, right? Obviously, we thought, oh, Boots, potentially could fight Haney or Norman or Teofimo Lopez. Big names in America. They're names in America. Not necessarily the greatest potential fights, but big names in America. Fights that obviously will grab casual fans' attention. Now he moves to 154, so people assume right off the bat he's going to fight Virgil Ortiz because Virgil Ortiz and Turki Al-Sheikh already talked about a potential fight with him, right? And then now he's talking about fighting Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly hasn't been fucking significant in boxing since he was in the UK British Olympic team. Since he became a pro, he got exposed very early and has done nothing in the meantime. So it seems like a disappointing opponent. But at the end of the day, if he ends up fighting Virgil Ortiz after that, then the rest of this isn't going to mean anything. Like sometimes fans are just too fucking mental as far as how quick they fucking jump at somebody's throat. Inside, okay, but after that, let's get a big one. Exactly. Norman ducked. He did duck. But after he got his big victory recently, that's when people felt like they should negotiate once again. But at that point, after his win, Boots Ennis then jumped up to 154. So it seemed a little rash on Boots' situation. You could have fought at 154. You chose to stay at 147. You didn't fight Lopez to fight Stanionis. You finally unify. You offer Norman a fight. He's got a mandatory fight or a fight with Sasaki in Japan. He takes that fight, gets a spectacular knockout win. You figure now's the time to make that fight. Or potentially a Devin Haney, right? If you think about it, those two fights are probably more significant than anything he's going to be doing at 154 until he fights Virgil Ortiz. So the way his team is moving, it just seems like one bad move after another. Being part of the PBC for so long, but not being PBC, again, another bad move because they had no motivation to really push you properly, put you on pay-per-view, make you a pay-per-view star. They always had you as an underling. So, all I have to say is, unfortunately for him, it just seems like the decisions his team makes tend to be probably the wrong decisions. Fannin just came out with an explosive Crawford rant. Boxing fans are clowning him. They should, because he constantly is fucking putting out fucking fake news bullshit about Crawford. Crawford's under an FBI investigation. Crawford's being investigated for PEDs. Fannin is the worst. And you never hear JB point that out about him, right? Like the people hating on Crawford primarily are Black American fighters or Black American YouTubers for the most part. Norman didn't duck. Well, he did duck, Raf, originally when they offered him the fight, and he turned down $1.2 million to then go on to fight a guy for far less money that nobody's even heard of. I wonder if Fannin will be secretly rooting for Canelo. Of course, he used to say that Canelo was his favorite fighter until, of course, he had to shit all over Canelo. Raf, his pops admitted it on Coach Malachi. Hearn says they offered Boholchuk a fight and didn't hear anything back. I thought that would be a great fight. But then once again, Boholchuk is a good opponent, but he's already been beaten, right? So don't get me wrong. I would be excited. I'll be excited about any of the fights Boots is in. I just want to see him stay busy. And I know that we will get big fights because Turkey is going to be moving him in that direction. What did Turkey say? Turkey said, no tune-up fights. If you want that, you fucking organize that with Eddie Hearn. We're making big fights over here. So if you want big money, you talk to me, and I'm going to make a big fight against Virgil Ortiz. I heard Virgil is next after Kelly. Of course he is. That's the obvious direction that they're moving. Spence fan base is one or maybe the most toxic fan base on the internet, disrespectful and spending death threats. Well, that and Deontay Wilder's as well. Spence fans got humbled bad, but dropped a nuclear bomb on the aerosexuals, and they are not around like they used to be. Sean, is Boots heading down the Boo Andrade road? I don't think so. Already he's done something Boo never did, which was unify titles. So beat a champion to win a belt, something Boo never did. When Boo Boo had an opportunity to do that with Charlo, what did he do? He literally ducked that fight and walked away from the contract and alienated himself from Al Heyman and the PBC, and then went on to do what? Nothing. Looks like Spence pulled an Asim Hamed move. Exactly. That's a good comparison. Once he got exposed, he fucking just disappeared. Norman Jr. had some offers from Boots' team at 147, but didn't want the smoke. Barrow's fighting Pacquiao, so how was Boots going undisputed at 147? Yeah, he wasn't. That's why he moved up. And undisputed is not always something that's a necessity. You don't need to do that. I mean, Floyd Mayweather became TBE and he never fucking was undisputed. Manny Pacquiao, a superstar fighter, a pay-per-view superstar, never became undisputed. What the hell Bud doing under FBI investigation? He's not. He's not. That's just Fannin. Fannin comes out with fucking clickbait shit consistently on his channel, and somehow people still watch it, even though it's complete fucking bullshit with no truth behind it. Remember recently, I just put out like a crazy ass video accusing somebody of being under FBI investigation. I can't remember who it was. Some black American fighter, maybe Tank Davis, I think. And I was just trolling Fannin and people like Fannin. Plus, at 147, I don't think Boots wanted the IBF rehydration clause anymore unless it was unification, so he could avoid it. Yeah, as a unified champion, does he still fall under the IBF next day weigh-ins? Because if that's the case, yeah, I can understand why nobody wants to do that when you're struggling. Boholchuk looked bad in his last fight. It was on that UFC pass. Yeah, I remember. I think Ennis will go after big fights. I don't see him being an Andrade. I thought he looked fine. Just seems like it's going to take way too much money to make Virgil Boots. Well, that's why Turkey Al Sheik is going to make that. Come on, too much money. At this day and age, there's no such thing as too much money. We don't need to fucking wait years to make a fight. Turkey, if he's excited by the matchup, he will make it. Raf, he didn't look so lethargic like he was fighting in quicksand. Virgil fought so stupid versus Bohochuk. Ryan. What about Ryan? Ryan is insignificant. They would go unified rules. I was wondering how humble, truthful brother like you, Sean, have low subscribers, and guys like Fanny and Blue Blood have plenty. I finally found the answer. Clickbait titles. Well, yeah, those guys are clickbait masters that all push the racial profile of boxing, right? They're all trying to get Black American disenfranchised youth to support their channels through, insightful clickbait fucking videos. I had a wrench on Fannin. He took it away because I said he downplayed Bivol before the Canelo fight. After the fight, he made it out to be like Bivol was a beast. Yeah, Fannin's clueless. I remember when Fannin first started and he was making his whole channel based on hating on Lomachenko and dick riding fucking Rigo. And how did that work out for him? Clickbait or victim titles. Usually the unbiased channels have less subs. True that. But let's talk about the fights that are happening this weekend. What am I showing? What's that? Usually, you ready for Crocker Donovan 2 for the IBF welterweight title? I think it's good for the UK, obviously, to give them a champion that people can discuss. But above and beyond that, it's not a fight that I'm really too fucking interested in. I can't say that I've been paying much attention to that. You forgot to close your tab, Sean. No, I just clicked on the wrong one. That's historic, right? Historic porn right there that you just saw. That was, maybe you guys remember when you were kids and you could, well, it depends on how young you are. and you couldn't watch like real porn because there was no internet. So we watched like soft porn that was on like HBO and things like that. Emmanuel is like some French soft porn series of videos that came out with this attractive French woman who traveled the world. Not hardcore, but when you're a young kid, it was perfect. And unlike porn at that time, where most of the girls were pretty, not very attractive, she was at least a very attractive woman. Where are we? What's funny about Fannin doesn't give credit to Loma for beating Rigo because he came up 2 weight classes. Okay, but why did he call for Inui to jump up to 130 to fight Tank? Well, that's the hypocrisy with guys like Fannin. They give Errol Spence full credit for beating Mikey Garcia. They're the ones that pushed for Lomachenko to fight Rigo. Literally, after the contract was already signed, they were talking about how Rigo was going to break fucking Lomachenko's jaw and how there was levels to this game. And Rigo was just levels above Lomachenko. Only after he fucking got exposed and fucking pulled a no mas did they end up fucking talking about the 2 weight classes that he had to jump up. But what they ignored or failed to tell you, and this is a reality, Lomachenko had offered Rigo a fight when he was the 126-pound world champion, and Rigo was the 122-pound champion. And this is after all those PBC fighters like Leo Santa Cruz, Mares, and Frampton all fucking blatantly ducked Rigo. Who didn't duck Rigo? Fucking Lomachenko. That's the guy he directly went after. And that was at the same time where Andre Ward was trying to get a fight with Golovkin, right? And Golovkin would have had to come up from 160 to 175 and then waited like 3 fights before fucking Ward gave him a fight, because we saw how that Kovalev thing went. 3-fight contract, the last fight being the Kovalev fight. So you think Golovkin would have done that kind of deal to begin with? Fucking never. Why would he waste his time? Especially when he had a Canelo Alvarez in his division. But the sticking point was Lomachenko agreed to a catch weight, 124 pounds. He agreed to a rehydration clause, but Rigo walked away because the money wasn't enough. Only to come crawling back years fucking later. And at that point, Lomachenko's like, I'm not giving you fucking nothing. I don't need you. You're the one chasing after me, cloud chasing my name on social media. So you want to fight? Come up and fight me. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. And that's what happened. But these bullshit fake fans that always pushing race, they will ignore that. They won't even fucking talk about that. You never hear any of them mention how Rigo ducked Lomachenko at 126. And they also don't tell you how Walters and Rigo and Lomachenko were supposed to fight for unification at 126. They talk about how Bob Arum, Top Rank, basically had Walters on the layoff, so Lomachenko would be like have the advantage against him. But that's not the scenario. The scenario was Nicholas Walters literally lost his fucking 126-pound world title, fucking up the whole plan, right? And then he became just a backup plan because he was no longer a fucking champion. So they didn't have that big unification fight that they wanted. Imagine if Lomachenko, right, after beating Gary Russell, would have ended up getting a potential Walters unification fight and then a Rigo coming up from 122 to 126 fight before moving to 130 and eventually 135. Imagine how his career would have been at that point. Beating Walters for unification, beating fucking Rigo when he was really seen as a pound-for-pound fighter with only a 2-pound difference in weight classes. The haters would have hated. That's why they ignore it. Where are we? Could Pac-Man be vaulted into the IBF title shot to face the winner of Paddy Crockett? Man, I just don't want to see Pacquiao fight anymore. There's no need to it. There's no need to fucking use these old-ass fucking fighters like Spence, Charlo, fucking Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. Those dudes' fucking day is done. Let's move forward. We don't need to keep fucking holding on to these guys. Move on. There were rumors of Pac versus Rolly fight. Move on. Top three: Usyk, Inui, and Bam. Look at you. No way you can put Bam above fucking Bivol and Crawford. No way. Hollow Ninja, thank you very much. He says this must be addressed. Moving around and looking at your rival is not being technical. Throwing punch variety to figure out your rival is technical. Are you referring to who? Devin Haney or who specifically? Like, obviously, the point of moving around is to unsettle fighters, make sure that they're off, they're not set properly, get their feet out of position, and give you opportunities to attack. That's the whole point of movement, right? It's not to stay away from fighting and throwing punches. It's to use movement to get guys' feet messed up so you can then attack when you have the advantage, right? That's what it's for. It's no different to real war when you're on the field and strategically you're moving your armies and doing different things. You're trying to find the weakness by attacking in different ways. That's what movement is. Being flat-footed straight in front, obviously you're a sitting target. You better have head movement. Otherwise, you're going to get hit too much. But some fighters prefer that style, and that's fine. Other fighters have more side-to-side movement, right? And that side-to-side movement is just to throw people off, allow you opportunities to jump in. Pacquiao's the perfect example of that. Nobody would call Pacquiao a boxer mover, but he used his legs to move side to side, in and out, to try to create angles where he could attack from, right? And so movement is necessary, but running around circles is fucking pointless. It's not benefiting you offensively. You're not winning any fights by circling around the ring, not fucking engaging. You do not win a war by having soldiers on horses ride around fucking the army countlessly without fucking, attacking. If you're doing this, you're shooting arrows, you're doing something, you're getting smaller and smaller and getting the people grouped together where you can attack them. There's always a fucking strategy behind it. Just moving is pointless. You're just wasting energy. I'm not a big fan of Xander. I know he's only 22, but I just never seen the goods. I think the top guys at 154 beat him. But to be fair, Xander Zayas is exactly where he needs to be. Top Ranks moved him up. He's now become a 154-pound world champion at 22 years of age. Obviously, he doesn't look like the hardest puncher or the most resistant type of dude, but he beat a guy who beat Charles Conwell, and he beat him easy. And obviously, that guy was dangerous the whole fight because he's a dangerous fucking opponent. Xander Zayas gets zero credit for beating him from a lot of fans, but the reality is, people were calling Charles Conway a fucking boogeyman. That guy, as I predicted, potentially could beat Conwell, and he did. And I knew Xander Zayas would beat him because he uses movement, right? Unlike Conwell, who is much more of an old school type of fighter. Janibek is supposed to be moving up to 168. I saw, so I expect fighters from 154 to move up now. Let's not forget Gary Russell Jr. was once the boogeyman. Many fighters ducked Gary Russell Jr. to where he had to be called out Bud at 135. Lomachenko had the guts. John Boxing destroyed. Gary Russell didn't help himself, though, fighting once a year and consistently calling people out but never making a fight. Lomachenko is a fucking gangsta. Xander looked good last Saturday. Salute Mr. Newton. Salute Hawker Mustang. Madrimov beats Funduro. I think potentially he could, but Funduro's a tough opponent, man, and I think he's only getting better and better all the time. So I do think, obviously, he's beatable because he's already been beaten. But with his length, his surprising power, his toughness, right, I would say he's a more tough, resistant guy than Xander Zayas is. But I think Xander Zayas could beat him, outbox him. I think the other champions beat Xander. I think Murtazaliev beat Xander Zayas. He's just too tough, too rugged, hits too hard. But I think Sandro Zayas beats Von Durl. And then who's the other champion? Isn't one belt vacant right now? Like what happened to that Bud Crawford belt? Does Crawford still have it, or has it been vacated? Sean, why is everyone over some backroom? Over rating? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know if anybody's overrating Backroom. He's just a dangerous opponent. He showed you how destructive he was against Tim Tszyu. He destroyed that guy and ruined his career. Sent him back to fucking Australia. If Tim Tszyu wants to continue, he needs to fight domestic level Australian fights. Michael Zarafa, perfect opponent. Zarafa is a perfect opponent. That fight will do big numbers in Australia. He can get a big payday, and it's the kind of opponent he can win and put himself back in the position potentially against Sandro Zayas, right? A guy that might be the perfect type of fighter for him to beat. Von Durl, Backroom, Bud, Xander, all are champs. Yeah, but Bud's not a champ, so basically that title is vacant. People penciling in Backroom to beat everyone. Well, but let's be fair. Out of Von Durl and Xander Zayas, who do you think beats Murtazaliev? Because those are the two other champions. People penciling in Virgil is an interim at 154. That doesn't mean shit. I don't talk about interim titles. Crawford got ranked number 1 at 168 out of nowhere. Well, by the WBC, that wouldn't be a surprise. That is the WBC. They love to do that shit. But let's take a look at today's boxing event, since we do have some boxing later today. Obviously, it's going to be in Japan. I don't know if it's going to be shown where. Obviously, you're going to have to try to find a feed. But obviously, you have 2 world title fights. I'm not sure about this other one with Eric Rosa and Takami. I don't think that's a world title fight. But obviously, you got Antonio Vargas right here, 19-1, 11 knockouts, 28 years old, American fighter. Obviously, his only loss came early on in his career when he lost to Jose Maria Cardenas. Got knocked out in 1 fucking round. Since then, obviously, he's bounced back and beat Jonathan Gonzalez, which is a great victory for him. Stopping Jonathan Gonzalez, beat Hernan Marquez, even though Hernan Marquez hasn't been relevant for years. Beat an undefeated Guerrero, and now put himself in position to face Diego Higa, once world champion. But ever since Diego Higa moved up from 112 pounds, he's mostly just been a contender. His power hasn't been nearly as good, and defensively, he was never a very solid fighter. 21-3-2, 19 knockouts, only stopped once. Obviously, he had that draw against Tazumi in his last fight, lost to Takai prior to that in decision. 218-pound world champions right there. You go back far enough and he lost to Nishida. Go back and he has a draw against Suzumi before. Obviously got stopped by Christopher Rosales when Rosales became a world champion back in the day. Beat Moses Fuentes, which was a solid win. Beat Juan Hernandez Navarrete, very solid win. So he's got some good opponents on his resume. So it's no surprise he's got losses. At this point, he is the favorite over Vargas, and I think you have to favor him. I mean, I know he lost to these 2 champions. Really, I thought Tatsumi beat him as well. But he was competitive in both fights. I think Antonio Vargas, is biting off more than he can chew at this point of his career. Higa Takai is a war. Saw it live. Crawford is ranked number 2 in the WBO at 168 because he always done everything the WBO wanted him to do since 135. That's true. Every fight at 154 is 50-50 in my opinion. 50-50? Hollow Ninja says, wrong. And of course, the fighter of the night is Shiro Teraji, the pound-for-pound rated fighter. 25-1, 16 knockouts, only knocked out once. Obviously redeemed that. 33 years of age. Currently, he's the WBA and WBC champion at flyweight. a two-weight unified champion. Obviously, this is the guy that John Boxing says has a terrible resume and hasn't fought anyone. But yet he won his first fight against Ganigan Lopez, a legitimate champion, defended against Pedro Guevara in his first victory, solid opponent, then faced Gilberto Pedroza, ex-world champion, in his next fight, solid opponent, rematch Lopez. So from winning the fight, his first three defenses, world champion, world champions, world champions. And then Molindo, world champion. Saul Juarez. I can't remember if Juarez was ever a world champion, but he was always a top-level contender. Then this kid, Takoing, Pachulian, Hisida, and then obviously Ibuki, which when he fought Ibuki, it was a domestic UK fight, but Ibuki ended up stopping him in 10 rounds, was a huge punching Japanese fighter, but technically not the best. In the rematch, he went in there and stopped Ibuki in 3 rounds, unified against undefeated Taiguchi, beat Anthony Olaskagu, who currently is a world champion, beat multiple weight world champion Hecky Butler, beat Carlos Gonzalez, who's also fighting this week, beat a guy we just saw that was a world champion that beat Diego Higa, stopped him, Christopher Rosales, the nephew of Chocolatito, and then obviously in his last fight, fight of the year of 2025, beat Sergey Yuri Akui to unify the WBA, WBC titles in a fucking great fight. If you guys never saw it, go watch it. I guarantee you may walk away thinking that Ken Shiro is not that great and that he's overrated. That's true. That's fair. Akui fucking was fighting brilliant on that night and having a lot of success. But to come through and win that fight, that's like Arturo Gatti-esque. That was the kind of win that Ken Shiro had. And now obviously he's fighting Ricardo Rafael Sandoval, 26-2, another young up-and-coming American fighter, El Nino, 18 KOs, a good power, never been stopped. A guy that's done well, beat Angel Acosta, stopped him in 10 rounds, solid win. Carlos Buitrago, ex-world champion, good win for him. Lost to David Jimenez, got beat. Beat Buitrago one more time. Jay Harris, solid win, good UK fighter, stopped him in 8 rounds. Who else did he lose to? Early on in his career? Yeah, so nobody. But, I mean, I think this is going to be a very, very fun, exciting fight. Sandoval's an aggressive fighter who's going to bring the fight right to Kenshiro Teraji. And it's going to be fun, man. Like, there's nothing bad about this potential matchup. I think Kenshiro is going to win because obviously his level of experience is way beyond Sandoval's. And he's just found a way to win, right? And that's a key. Some people just know how to win. Evan Deere will come on and say that Taraji's resume is better than Crawford. I won't say it's better than Crawford, but it's not much worse than Crawford's. Like, when you think about Crawford's 5 best wins, the one that stands out is obviously Errol Spence, Sean Porter, fucking Ricky Burns, Gamboa, and Postal. I mean, you saw the guys that fucking Kenshiro Teraji fought, guys that are equally as accomplished, if not more accomplished, than all 4 of the guys I just listed. The only guy that was a pound-for-pound fighter on Bud Crawford's resume was Errol Spence, right? And obviously, Kenshiro Teraji doesn't have a pound-for-pound opponent on his resume, but he has fucking a ton of champions he beat. And early on in his career, he came through tough ranks, man, beating a world champion and defending against 4 world champions, fucking boom, 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 right after another. So he did not have an easy route to earn to become pound for pound. And he's been a unified champion, 3-belt unified at 108, and now he's a 2-belt unified champion, obviously at 112. And he would have been undisputed at 108. It's just Jonathan Gonzalez literally fucking ducked him. But casual fans that don't know anything, they won't fucking talk about that. And the reality is, if he would have become undisputed, they would have been shitting on his undisputed run, even though he would have done that by beating champions to become undisputed. Unlike fucking Devin Haney, who beat 1 champion. He would have had to beat who? Multiple world champions. 3 world champions to become undisputed at 108. Sean, do you recommend Thailand for vacation? Oh, yes, for sure. But obviously, certain places are better than others. It depends on what you want. Do you want that mad fucking party life, or you want more of a secluded casual life? You could obviously do both of them. That's what I would recommend, because obviously, if you've never been to Thailand, you should get a little bit of that. I went with my sister and I took her to a real chilled beach, which is one of the most chilled beaches in Thailand, down towards Malaysia. Uh, and it was great. We had fucking an excellent 5 days there. Then we went back to Bangkok. And as we got out of the taxi on Koh San Road, my sister looked down the street and she fucking just lost it. And she's like, "Oh no, I don't want to go there." Because she's like, this girl that lives in fucking Nova Scotia, quiet East Coast Canada, and now all of a sudden she was in this crazy fucking Koh San Road. But by the end of the trip, she's out on Koh San Road with my coworker, getting drunk every night, talking to fucking all kinds of people, eating fucking scorpions, barbecued scorpions, and everything else. So she adapted very quick. Teraji has an amazing resume, amazing. But then a fucking casual dude like John Boxing and many of these other haters on YouTube, they will downplay and fucking ignore and say nobody even can tell you who's on Ken Shiro Teraji's fucking resume. Well, maybe you can't. Shout out to the new Ring magazine for showing Nakatani, Teraji, and Bam. Boxing fans still don't know who they are. Jonathan Gonzalez need his KO. You think Spence will ever come back? He doesn't need to come back. He had a solid career. Is he a Hall of Famer? No. Is he one of the best of the generations? No, not the way his career went. And all of that was self-inflicted. He fucked up his career. You can't blame racism or blame other people. This dude fucking drank and partied, didn't focus on his career, ended up almost killing himself in a car crash, and then got fucking flatlined in his biggest career fucking fight, and hasn't come back to redeem himself and win a world title afterwards. So his career is incomplete. If he wants to become a Hall of Fame fighter, he needs to come back and win a world title, right? Those kind of comebacks are very significant. Black American boxing fans only know the same four fighters. It's true. Like right now, when you think about boxing in the world, and we'll go from the bottom division up and think about what Black American fighters are relevant in those divisions. So, strawweight, no, 108, no, 112, 112, no, 115, no, 118, no, 122, no, 126. You got, what's his face? Stephen Fulton, right? So you got one Black American champion at 126. 130, I think you got obviously two, even though Lamont Roach is probably going to get stripped. Oshaki and Lamont Roach. And then you move to 135, and it's all Black American fighters. Obviously, that's their strength, right? That 135 niche. You got Shakur, Tank Davis, Abdullah Mason, right? And Murtazaliev Muratala is the outlier. Then to 140, who? No American champ. Oh, is Russell a champion now? Yeah, Russell's a champion. So Gary Russell is a champion. So 126, 130, 135, 140. And then 147, you got now Norman, because obviously my man moved up to the next division. At 154, I know Crawford's still listed as a champion, but he's no longer a champion in that division. So at 154, there's currently no real champion in that division. 160, no champion. No 68, no champion. 175, no champion. Cruiserweight, no champion. Heavyweight, no champion. 5 divisions. And that's not hate. That's fucking actual fact. Oh, Hitchens at 140. Oh, sorry. So Hitchens and Russell. Yeah. But that doesn't change anything. It's still 5 divisions. 5 divisions in boxing. And what is there? 108, 105, 108, 112, 115, 118, 122, 126, 130, 135, 140, 147, 154, 160, 168, 175, cruiserweight, heavyweight. 18 divisions in boxing. 18 divisions in boxing. Black American champions in 5 divisions. But yet I'm being a racist. I'm not being a racist. I'm not saying there's not great fighters in boxing that are Black Americans. There are. It's just currently there's only 5 weight divisions that have a Black American fucking world champion. Is that based on racism? Or is it just based on more of a fucking even playing field right now where you have boxers from around the world? And obviously certain fighters dominate certain divisions. And for Black Americans, it's between 126, 154. That's their niche, their strong point. And no one's taking it away from them. No one's hating on them. It's just, let's just be honest. Let's give everybody credit for doing great things in the sport of boxing. We don't need to disrespect Asian fighters to try to boost up Black American fighters. Asian American fighters are doing well in what divisions? 105, 108, 112, 115, 118, 122. Right? Outside of that, do you have a world champion in any other division? I don't think so. Obviously, you had Sasaki, but he got knocked out. You have another guy who's at 140, but he hasn't stepped up yet. So, you got a few guys at 130, the Tatsumi brothers. But right now, currently, you got champions in 6 divisions that are Japanese. Right? It's pretty even. All the talk about Spence fans, Bud's resume is this and that, but yet most of the bums on Crawford's resume did better than Spence. Laugh out loud. Well, see, 5 years of fucking hating on Crawford's resume, and if Crawford would have lost to Spence, you're doing what I pointed out all the time. By you shitting on an opponent's resume and shitting on an opponent, you're undermining your favorite fighter. You're taking away potentially their best win. They did that, of course, with Floyd Mayweather shitting on Canelo and shitting on fucking Manny Pacquiao. Arguably the 2 best wins of Floyd Mayweather's career. Yet you undermine those wins by consistently hating on those opponents, right? Consistently. And it's the same thing we see all the time. You undermine your favorite fighter by dismissing and downplaying their opponents. They spent 5 years trying to justify why Spence was ducking Crawford by belittling and shitting on Bud Crawford, only to then get exposed when Bud Crawford beat the fucking crap out of Errol Spence. And now Fan is still talking about conspiracy. Why would Americans care about anybody else? Why wouldn't they, Rick? Like, I'm Canadian. I don't just focus on Canadian fighters. I focus on the sport. As a sports fan, obviously you take pride when your people do well, right? I get that. I enjoy the Olympics. I support Canada. I'm always proud when a Canadian does very well in an event. But that doesn't mean I dismiss and ignore fucking every other athlete in the fucking world. I love the 1984 Olympic team, American. I love the U.S. Olympic basketball team. I love the Olympic fucking U.S. Olympic volleyball team with Karch Karai and Steve Timmons, right? They're American, not Canadian. But they were fucking dominant, great. And me as a sports fan, I could appreciate their fucking greatness. Even though they weren't representing my country, I could still appreciate them. But maybe that's the difference with me being a Canadian and some other countries that are so fixated on fucking, this me, only me type of mentality. I mean, that's part of the problem with North America right now, and Canada included, and Europe. This me fucking mentality where fucking people need their own fucking pronouns. Go to the Mexican boxing channels. They talk Mexican. Sure. Go to the Asian channels. Okay, tell me one fucking Asian channel, Rick. Go. I'm not saying not to talk about your fighters, but do you need to fucking hype up your fighters by belittling and shitting on everybody else? Go to those Asian channels. I guarantee you they're not shitting on American fighters to boost up Asian fighters. The Mexican channels, maybe they are, because they got the same fucking issues, right? Built off racism. Same as the Black American channels. The same issues. That's why they fucking consistently butt heads, because they got the same fucking mentality. Not everybody, but huge groups of people. But come on, Rick, are you a boxing fan or are you fucking just American? Because if you're just American, it must be sad to be an American in today's boxing fucking era because you guys just not nearly as dominant as you once were. Me being a boxing fan, I don't care who's dominant because what I want to see is dominance. Doesn't matter where it comes from. It could come from fucking the Ukraine, from the middle of fucking a forest in Africa, from somewhere fucking in South America. If a guy is dominant, destructive, and super entertaining, like what's his face from Venezuela, tattoos, killed his wife and then hung himself in his cell. Who is he? I forget his name. People talked about him fighting Pacquiao for years. That dude was fucking super exciting to watch because of the unknown quality of him, his destructiveness in the ring. He didn't need to come from a fucking country I favored or I liked. No one gave a fuck. He was a fucking monster. He was the miniature Mike Tyson of that era, right? Even people that weren't American love Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson was the baddest man on the planet. When people said that, they legitimately fucking believed it. There's nobody in the world that would fucking beat Mike Tyson in a fucking one-on-one. And that's why people could honestly say Tyson was the baddest man on the planet and say that fucking confidently. No one can say that now. No one's going to say that Alexander Usyk is the baddest man on the planet, right? Maybe the best boxer on the planet, but no one's going to say he's the baddest man on the planet. But okay, Spence got beat so bad, saying he lost is a compliment. Sean, that's because you are a boxing purist. Maybe 10% of boxing fans are that way. I don't think that's true. I'm a sports fan, and I think in all sports you say the same way. I mean, I watch tennis, I watch fucking football, soccer, and you know, even when players are great but not on my team. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I love Messi. I never fucking supported Barcelona, but I love Messi because he was great. When there's athletes that come around that are once in a generation type of athletes, how do you not fucking appreciate them? How do you not sit in awe of these people's accomplishments? Fucking Federer, Nadal, right? Steffi Graf, Serena fucking Williams, right? Like she took fucking women's tennis to a whole fucking new level. Man, I haven't heard those volleyball names in forever. Fuck, I was just watching, ironically, the US play Japan, and Japan had like one of the best players in the world. So I was watching YouTube videos and they just played 6 days ago and Japan beat the US. I'm like, man, the US has fallen off. My dream was to go to fucking Long Beach State and play fucking volleyball. Living in Long Beach State, fucking representing, man, eventually playing for Team Canada. But actually, it's my nephew who plays at Brock, where I went to university, played, and his girlfriend goes to Stanford right now, plays on the women's volleyball team. Yes, Edwin Valero. There you go, my man. I thought Bivol was a force, but man, he was given a choice. He is ducking Better BF. He is ducking Better BF. And that's what Better BF said all fucking along. He was forced to fucking rematch Better Bivol because he was never the guy they wanted to win. And this just shows that. And now at his age, basically they're just fucking him over, right? It's terrible. Is there a fight date set for Bivol Better BF3? No. They need to strip all those belts. This is ridiculous. Well, calm down with the strip belts. The fight just fucking happened for unification. Why do they need to strip the belts? Sean, am I wrong for thinking Eddie Hearn is absolutely disgusting for entertaining AJ versus Jake Paul? I don't think it's a big deal. I was pushing for Jake Paul to fight Deontay Wilder. At this point of AJ's career, what's different with AJ fighting Jake Paul or Deontay Wilder fighting Jake Paul? If I'm going to say that I would love to see Wilder Jake Paul, I might as well say the same thing for AJ. The only difference is obviously we would love to see AJ versus Fury. That's a fight that actually is legitimate. Wilder doesn't have any fight like that really, even though Americans and LDBC would love you to say Wilder versus AJ, which, you know, okay, is not bad, but unfortunately Wilder has fallen so far. Some of the women on volleyball look good. Well, the good thing about women volleyball players, the majority of them aren't lesbian, unlike basketball. Sean, are you familiar with Mona Kimura? I am. I love that girl. She's such a nerdy little fucking Japanese girl with her fucking normal double teeth, Japanese teeth, right? But she's a beast. That fight was in February, March, April, May, June, July, 5 months. What's the problem? How often do guys fucking defend their titles more than once in a year? They still have all the rest of the year to make a title defense. What's the issue? Jake gonna get KO'd badly by AJ, but that's what people want. People want to see fucking Jake Paul get KO'd, right? That's why I said Wilder him would be great, and for Wilder's career, it'd be fucking a win, man. Right? You get tons of cash, and you're the guy who dethrones Jake Paul. People are gonna love Deontay Wilder. Even haters are gonna love fucking Deontay Wilder. So, me pushing for Wilder versus Jake Paul, I'm thinking I'm really pro fucking Wilder in that respect. Let's say Adrian Broner versus Jake Paul in 4 months. Who you got? Well, right now Adrian Broner is probably 300 pounds. Obviously, Broner is super small compared to Jake Paul. He's going to have a hard time getting Paul past ball by Jake Paul's jab. Jake Paul's going to smother him on the inside because he's so big. I think it would be a boring fight, to be truthful. If you want titles defend once a year, then yeah, let Bivol keep them all. But that's what happens in every single fucking division and happens all the time. Usually you got one title defense and usually you have one freebie that you pick. Every champion's the same. It's not what I want. This is what the market has dictated. So why are we going to try to change it now because of we don't like Bivol as a champion? So you want titles only defended once a year. Dude, this is the standard, the norm. If you don't like it, don't fucking bring it up to me. I'm just telling you what's fucking normal in every single weight division with every single champion. There's very few champions defending their title multiple times a year. Anui, and then who? I can actually see Jake Paul beating Wilder. See, that makes the fight even more interesting. If people actually believe that Jake Paul can beat Wilder, I don't see that happening. Sean, are Japanese women the hottest Asian type of women? No. No. Bow-legged, knock-kneed, definitely not the most beautiful Asian girls. Okay, so strip them so you can have more fights. No, I just want more fights. Yeah, but then you undermine fucking the integrity of the sport. Having more fucking useless bullshit champions that don't deserve titles doesn't help the sport. Think about what I want. One world champion, one fucking world title. What you're going to do is probably still defend your title once a year to your mandatory, and then you're going to have one fucking stay busy fight during the year. That was normal in boxing history. You're going to have what? 4 fucking useless, pointless champions facing pointless bullshit fucking opponents, all fucking so their promoters get money and give boxing fans fights nobody's asked for. Wow, congratulations. We literally had the last 10 years of boxing do that, and it's fucking almost ruined the fucking sport. So that's definitely not the way to go. I saw a clip of Wilder years ago, was over in China. I believe he punched a mascot as hard as he could, messed up. Mascot was laid out. Really? Japan got the best. Got the best what? Women? No. If they were fighting more often, you would have more distinguished champions. No, what you'd have is more like the UFC, more short-term champions who end up getting retired early because of injuries and don't have long careers and don't have a long opportunity to build their name brand to fucking really get full attention from fans. That's what you'd get. What Asian country has a Hitomi Tanaka? Japan women are the hottest in Asia. You're picking out one Japanese woman that's hot. You could do that with literally every single country in the world. Like, I dated Japanese girls. Japan, and I live in Taiwan in Asia. Japanese girls are not the hottest. What is Rachel Donaire, Filipino? She's Filipino, and she's definitely not the hottest Filipino. Filipino women are hot. You get a way more diverse selection of women in the Philippines. shorter, darker, taller, lighter, right? As well as China. It's a huge fucking country. So the diversity in China is huge. From Beijing girls that are very tall and light skinned to more fucking southern Chinese girls, which are shorter and darker, right? Indonesian girls are fucking voluptuous and sexy as fuck. Sexy as fuck. You know, if you're a brother and you want to fucking move to Asia, go to Indonesia. You're going to find the kind of sisters that you want to find. Girls with a lot of fucking ass. We were walking through Sogo, a mall in Taiwan, me and my buddy, and we saw this girl with the fucking bajunka. It was just like, what the fuck is that? This girl had on fucking yoga tights and an ass from fucking America. No ass like that I've ever seen in fucking Asia. Unbelievable. I'm sick of hearing about Muhammad Ali and his overhyped era of boxing, Sean. Oh, come on, Hawker. What are you talking about? His era of boxing was fantastic. He literally beat monsters in fucking Liston and Foreman. Monsters, right? But I'm not somebody who underwrites and undermines modern boxing. Some people do that, but that's because they're just looking for reasons to not give guys like Usyk credit. Filipinos are hot, so are Thai women. They fucking Asian women, man. Obviously, each region is different and has its own benefit. Are Thai women number one? Thai women are similar. You go up north and you get more Chinese type of girls, taller and light skinned. You also get girls that are shorter and darker, a little more voluptuous. I just had sex with a girl in Thailand that was very unusual for Taiwan. She was very top heavy. Brothers these days migrated to snow bunnies. I want to check out Malaysia, but Malaysia is a Muslim country, so keep that in mind. I don't believe this is a real Matron 508. Ali was the golden era of heavyweight boxing. I don't know if it was the golden era. In hindsight, people reminisce well of it because of the storylines, right? And storylines obviously are important for all sports. That's why you need great pundits and commentators, because they're the ones who build the stories. Howard Cosell, right? You had a Howard Cosell who was the voice of that era of boxing. He built the stories. Obviously, there was a lot of drama as well. So a lot of chips fell into place. Clowns putting Usyk above Vlad, not understanding that Vlad didn't become undisputed because he wasn't going to fight his brother. Yeah, but even though he didn't become undisputed, that doesn't necessarily mean anything in comparison him to Usyk. He was much more of a behemoth, monster puncher type of fighter, but he was not the technically skilled, fluid type of fighter that Usyk is. What is the golden era of heavyweight boxing? I don't like to say that kind of shit because people use that, right, to disrespect other eras. So I never use that kind of term, the golden era. Obviously, I was a little young for that golden era. I grew up and watched the tail end of Foreman and Frazier and Ali. I missed the 60s version of Ali, which obviously was the version that my dad and my grandfather grew to love as boxing fans, right? The version I saw was a big talker, not quite the same great athletic version in the 60s. Didn't move as much slower, got hit too much. And then I saw the pathetic ending where they just stretched his career out way too long. Vlad, he most pissed on and disrespected heavyweight ever. Vlad was great. I don't think he's the most disrespected. I think his brother. Which one's Vlad? The older one or the younger one? Muhammad Ali got mopped up by Leon Spinks when he was 36 years old. Yeah. But what does that have to do with anything, Hawker Mustang? Leon Spinks was a gold medal winning Olympian. And Muhammad Ali was fucking already a guy that had fucking illness. He should not have been in the ring at that point of his career. And he still came back and won in the rematch. even though he was fucking 36 years old, well past his best. No heavyweights in those eras were fighting at 36 years of age. They were using him because he was a fucking money gravy train. But let's not try to hate on people. Now you sound like fucking who who fucking was just recently shitting on Ali and Spinks. Was that Floyd Mayweather? You're fucking like literally using fucking Floyd Mayweather's fucking arguments. You should slap yourself, Hawker Mustang, for fucking even thinking about quoting Floyd Mayweather. Think about how disgusting that is. That you're fucking quoting Floyd fucking Mayweather. Ugh. Ugh. Who is the better resume of wins at heavyweight? John Ruiz beating Holyfield, Galata, Tucker, Rahman. What? Or Usyk, who beat AJ, Dubois, Fury, and Chisora. Come on, man. You're comparing fucking John Ruiz, who lost to fucking a light heavyweight. Tucker fucking never did anything. Rahman fucking was a contender. Fucking Galata, he fucking blew his best wins against Riddick Bowe. And Holyfield fucking almost died because of heart issues at that point of his career. Obviously, fucking Usyk's career beating prime fighters like Dubois, Fury, and fucking AJ is far more significant. Usyk is undefeated, undisputed at heavyweight, also undisputed at cruiserweight at 38. What do you have to talk about him? It's a different era now. This is 2025, not fucking 19 fucking 72. Leon Spinks was a little guy. He was a feather-fisted. He had 7 pro fights, and he had a trash resume. Yeah, fucking. I didn't know that fucking Floyd Mayweather took over Hawker Mustang's fucking page. That's sad that he allowed fucking Floyd Mayweather to buy him out. Hopefully, he got a lot of cash for fucking selling his soul. Rahman KO'd Lewis, yeah, and then got fucking knocked out in the rematch. Like, you guys love to fucking put the spin on shit, man, and fucking not put context to anything. Where's your context? Any heavyweight can get knocked out with one punch, which is exactly what Rahman did. And outside of beating Lennox Lewis, what else did he do in his fucking career? AJ was fucking prime. What are you talking about? AJ was 32 years old and came back and fought Usyk better in the rematch than he did in the first fight. He literally was in his fucking prime. Boxing is doing better than UFC again. We're making the best fights. UFC League currently have too many Eastern European fighters. All they do is grapple, no punching and kicks. That's true. Derek Chisora weighed 255 when a 217-pound whipped him. Rematch doesn't erase the first fight. I just told Muhammad Ali to the same standard as everybody holds Usyk to. No, you're just pushing some racial fucking ridiculous argument. Like, once again, I will say the same thing I say to fucking you that I say to everybody else. You don't need to shit on fighters of a different race to boost up fighters that look like you. You don't need to do that. Usyk's career is great. He's putting himself in contention for one of the top 10 heavyweights of all fucking time. We don't need to piss on and disrespect Ali in the process of that. Ali's not even alive right now. So what's the point of even dragging him into this conversation? Chisora arguably beat Usyk. Arguably. Nobody thought Chisora won the fight, but okay, he arguably fucking beat Usyk. Man, I love how fucking people put that arguably before fucking some stupid fucking statements. Floyd Mayweather must have been reading some of my comments, or maybe somebody read them to him because Floyd can't read. That's true. But you can read his fucking comments. Damn, Sean is cooking tonight. Next, Sean is Clarissa Shields the quote. No. She could be, but unfortunately her resume is fucking trash. How do you fucking put her above Katie Taylor, who has historically the best resume in women's boxing history? Women's boxing history. Also, The only reason Clarissa Shields was allowed to fight in the Olympics is because of Katie Taylor, who opened the door to female boxing in the Olympics. So you should say thank you, because without her, Clarissa Shields would be nobody. She would not have been able to fight in the fucking Olympics. She would have 0 gold medals. Nobody would know who the fuck she was. And as far as calling out fucking Layla Ali, that's some weak fucking sauce. Usyk 8 fights at heavyweight isn't anything. AJ and Fury both struggle with 40-year-old Vladimir. You like that, eh? I just think you sound fucking retarded. That's all. You struggle with somebody but beat them. And you're struggling with a guy who was a fucking Hall of Famer and potentially the best fighter of his era. But you use that to hate on guys. It sounds fucking pretty fucking sad. My argument is Usyk stops Ali. Okay, you can have that argument. Everybody's entitled to opinion, Hawker. I thought Fury beat Vlad easy. He did beat him easy. It wasn't an exciting fight. It was a fucking terrible fight to watch. That's why nobody's rewatched it. And instead of letting Vlad have an opportunity to redeem himself, Fury fucking ran away and retired from the sport. Like a bitch. I have to cancel out Hawker's comments. I thought Fury beat him easy. Beat him easy. Easy work. That fight was not fucking competitive, but it was definitely not exciting either. So, what's the other big fight that's happening this weekend? Here we go right here. For WBC World Light Flyweight title, Carlos Canzanales, 27-3-1 versus Paya Prabhasuri, 44-2 from Thailand. Obviously, he just beat Canzales to win the title as a vacant title by majority decision. Now they're doing the rematch. This is fucking exciting. It's great. This is exactly what you would want a fighter to do. Obviously, the Thai fighters moved up. He ended up losing to one of the twin brothers from Japan at minimum weight, moved up to 108 and became a 2-weight world champion. And now is going to fight Carlos Canzanales in a rematch. Obviously, look, he also beat long-reigning fighter that beat Floyd Mayweather's record of 50-0 in Munsuri, beating Munsuri for his WBC minimum weight title. So, beating Munsuri twice. So this guy's a legitimate fighter, somebody nobody talks about in boxing. To beat Carlos Canzanales from Venezuela, hard-punching Venezuelan, 27-3-1, 19 KOs. Canzanales has been in with all kinds of bad fighters. Ken Shiro beat him by majority decision in a fight many people feel Canzanales won. Beat Lopez, stopping him in 4 rounds. Got beat by Bermudez. Bin Lu. You guys remember Bin Lu. Bin Lu came out of the Olympics, the future of Chinese boxing. Got a world title fight in his 2nd world title, just like Lomachenko, and ended up losing, getting stopped in the 12th round by Canzanales. What a fucking opponent to be stuck in with in your 2nd professional fight. After that, Bin Lu fucking has basically become he disappeared from boxing completely. Ray Mercer whoops Ali too. Oh, fuck off. Just to prove it's not racial, a whole lot of guys whip Ali. Tired of hearing about that overhyped job. Oh my God. Hawker down bad today. I never idolized Muhammad Ali because I'm not black and I'm not Jewish and I'm not Muslim. Don't have to be a fan of great athletes just because of their religion or their ethnicity. But you idolize GGG. I did like Muhammad Ali, though. I like Muhammad Ali. He was the first boxer I grew up watching. Hawker, are you okay, bro? GG was a boogeyman. I thought Hawker was blocked. I thought Zhu Shiming was the future of Chinese boxing. No, Zhu Shiming was the most accomplished amateur Chinese boxer. But Liu Bin was the guy that was going to become a real fucking significant professional, right? Taller, had power, a person that was dominate the amateur boxing, and people really felt that he would transition to the pros well. And obviously fought Carlos Canzales in his second pro fight, fought very well, and then got fucking stopped in the 12th round. Because being in a 12-round war after spending your whole career fighting 3-rounders, man, they pushed that kid wrong and ended up ruining his career. Larry Holmes is underrated. Larry Holmes is underrated. Larry Holmes is criminally underrated. He is criminally underrated. Larry Holmes was a great fighter, especially in his prime. Why am I hearing from Bam's team that Junto turned down a fight with him? Any truth to that? I think a lot of that is fucking just bullshit. They're offering Junto a fight now, right? Now. But what's Junto going to do now? Right? Like they should have been offering Junto a fight last year when the possibility of him fighting Inui wasn't so significant. When he was literally at 115 pounds, the same as them, basically. They were at 112 because they went down to avoid him. And then once he went to 118, they went back up. But like they're calling him out now, knowing he's going to be fighting Inui early 2026. He's not fucking going to fight them now. Why would he? His opponent is Inui in the biggest fight in Japanese boxing fucking history. He's going to, apparently, from what I've heard, move on and fight somebody this year at 122 to get comfortable at the weight before fighting Inui early spring of 2026. Yeah, that's exactly what you think he should fucking do. And actually, I heard he's going to fight Cardenas. I don't know if that's going to work out that way. But obviously, him taking on a mutual opponent like Cardenas, who was a very game opponent for Inui, that would be the smart thing to do. Fighting Bam at this point, like, is that the move? Is that move going to generate more money for Junto than a fucking Inui fight? Come on, let's be real. You're going to get paid this much money to fight Bam Rodriguez. You're going to get this much money to fight fucking Inui. So they're fucking clout chasing because they knew they were going to fight Puma. So saying that they're going to fight fucking Junto when they know they want to fucking become undisputed at 115, pure bullshit. Pure bullshit. LeBron James is not better than Michael Jordan. Why are you still having this debate? I'm not having this debate. I know Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James. Larry Bird is better than fucking LeBron James. Junto would beat the hell out of Bam. I'm not impressed with Bam. Bam is great. But he should have been chasing that Junto fight when he was a champion at 115, and Junto moved to 115 and got ducked by fucking Naoka for the WBO title. That's who he should have been chasing then, instead of moving down in weight to take on fucking 112-pound fighters. Larry Holmes is underrated because he whipped Muhammad Ali and made all Muhammad Ali fanboys mad. No, it's not that. It's because he fought a fucking Ali that should not have been fighting and was only being exploited. Michael Jordan is way more superior than LeBron James. Way more. Most of the casual boxing fans don't know who you're talking about, Sean. Who are you talking about? Which fighter? MJ without Pippen in 5 seasons, never won 40 games, never won a playoff series. Pippen without MJ in 94 was third in MVP voting. Oh my God. Dry Turkey just loves to come out with bullshit fucking narratives. No, Pippen is not better than fucking Jordan because Pippen fucking literally fucking ducked and fucking blew it in that playoff series. Sean, I think Drew Titan is in the closet. That dude's totally in the fucking closet. If there's not a bigger fucking fairy running around the YTBC than that dude, I don't know fucking who it is. Everything about that guy screams fucking closet, closet, closet fag. And that's fine. Being a black man in America, I can imagine it's very difficult to fucking step out of the closet the judgments and everything you'd have to deal with. I get it. I mean, you got to give gay people that come out a lot of credit because obviously it's easier today, but imagine 20 years ago or even further back, right? Obviously, 2025, now it's embraced. But a dude like him on the LDBC, imagine he comes out of the closet. The LDBC is going to fucking kick him out. He's everything that's anti-LDBC if he's a gay black man. Mike Tyson also fought Larry Holmes that shouldn't be fighting. He was way past his prime. He was way past his prime, but not as shot as fucking Ali was. He still went on to have some significant fights after the Mike Tyson fight. He blocked me for not agreeing on his stupid logic. Too many closet queers. Jive turkeys don't know what he's talking about. Daddy Phil taught MJ how to win. LeBron won rings with bum Ty Lue as coach. Once again, dry turkey, you're just saying things to fucking say things. Nobody believes that fucking you have any truth to what you're saying. You're just trying to fucking stir the pot, create fucking drama, just be a typical troll. There's a learning curve on everything. That's the way life is. Michael Jordan, unlike LeBron James, didn't need to fucking run to different teams to try to make super teams to win NBA titles. That's all LeBron. Great fucking players in history didn't need to do that. They built teams within their fucking squad and they developed the teams. They did not need to go to other teams and fucking collude with top players and all-stars to make super teams so they could finally get a chip. Basketball sucks now. I don't care if a person is gay, whatever, but I hate it when they force it in your face. There is a child's book called Gay BCs. I saw that, the Gay BCs. No, I agree. I mean, that's the problem with current fucking world right now. Shoving fucking transgendered, gay, fucking, woke philosophies down people's throats, having the gay BCs in fucking kindergarten. Why do you need that? You don't need that shit. Having fucking trannies read fucking children's stories in kindergarten. You don't need that. It's fucking wrong. If the shoe was on another foot, people would fucking throw you in jail for that kind of shit. It's just fucking ridiculous. But that's why countries laughed at America. Because of this kind of bullshit. And them spending, look at Trudeau. I heard Trudeau spent millions of dollars sending to a country in Africa, I can't remember which country, to try to push fucking transgendered bullshit before fucking getting kicked out of fucking Canadian government. It's all a fucking huge global conspiracy to fuck up the world with this woke bullshit. But luckily now you're having the conservative kickback, which obviously was going to happen. You can't push this kind of shit down people's throats forever without there being a kickback. You saw that white militia marching fucking in the southern states. Everyone's calling it fucking the KKK. But yet, whenever another fucking group does it, it's fine. But why can't white people march? Why can't white people push for white mentality? Muslims can do it, blacks can do it, women can do it, gays and queers can do it, fucking Asians can do it. Everyone can do it except white people, right? Like they're pushing the world to a very conservative fucking turn. And that's what's happening throughout Europe and now happening in the States. Hopefully it fucking transpires to America. I mean, Canada as well. LeBron played for the most Hall of Famers of any top 10 player. LeBron is 21, 22 years old, barely old enough to drink alcohol, led his team to the finals with bench players. Oh my God. I hear Michael Jordan in real life is an asshole. Yeah, that's why he's a winner. So is Kobe. I'm so glad I never had kids. They're turning them gay. I quit watching NBA basketball back in the 90s, Sean. I don't watch it as much as I used to. I pay attention here and there. But right now I'm just excited to see how Cooper Flagg starts to get hated on throughout ESPN and all the media, how all the black pundits start fucking calling it all racism that he's getting attention, and he becomes the male version of Caitlin Clark. right? And the only reason he's getting attention is because he's white. After the sparring tape got dropped, Teo versus Shakur, right now at 140, who you got? Oh, I think Shakur stylistically would beat Teo, but it's a great fight. Who would complain about a Teo Shakur fight? I mean, the back and forth and the build up to the fight would be fucking great. Both guys are small for 140, so it's kind of perfect in between weight. Probably the best thing you could do is have them literally fight at 138, right? That's probably their best weight. I think it's a great fight. I would love it. But I also love Shakur or Teo to fight Tank Davis as well. So you're interested in the NBA for the racial dynamic. I'm shocked. No, I'm just interested to watch how people use the racial dynamic. Because we know that's what's going to happen. Think about the WNBA. There's tons of white players who've always been great in the WNBA, and it's never been an issue. No racist bullshit was pushed when Sue fucking Bird was one of the best players in fucking the league, was there? Not at all. But once Caitlin Clark came and revigorated fucking interest in the WNBA, all of a sudden race was used. Used by who? We know who was used by. The same people that are going to use it to shit on fucking Cooper Flag. It's not white people that are pushing hate. People are just embracing fucking white athletes that are doing great, like they should, like they would. Same as fucking every other ethnicity embraces their athletes. But as white people, you can't do that. You know, but you fucking are going to speak out your ass because you love to stir the fucking racial pot. Canelo versus Crawford, who you got? I'm still up in the air. Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones have beef now. Who fucking cares? I don't want to see either one of those twos in the ring. Fucking, their careers are done. Shakur Teo will be a snooze fest. That's cool, Jay. You could say that, but it's fucking a legacy fight, right? This whole mentality people like you have. What, are you afraid Shakur's going to lose? Get beat by a Latino fighter? Is that what you're afraid of? Are you afraid? You afraid a brother's going to get beat? So you'd rather he just fights fucking mediocre fighters and then talk about how everybody else is ducking him? Make the fucking fight. Prove who's better. Paige Buckretts is loved by the same people who dislike Caitlin Clark. Why? Because she kowtows to fucking the black women and black America. Taking fucking a step back and fucking doing like this. Caitlin Clark did it as well. She's just less spoken because she doesn't talk. She lets her game talk. Paige Beckers, right, was the best player coming out of high school, went to UConn. She had every advantage over fucking Caitlin Clark. The difference is Caitlin Clark actually fucking did it. Beckers won titles, but she's on a fucking one of the biggest women's franchises in college basketball history. Tennessee and UConn, right? Dominated women's basketball fucking forever. As a black man, I can admit my people are a walking contradiction. And I only say that because I grew up and all my friends were black. And so when I say this is what people say, I'm not saying this to be an asshole. I'm saying it because I fucking was there. I heard it every day. I was a fucking part of it. I fucking hated Duke. Hated fucking Larry Bird in Boston. Why? Because they were white. Boring. Uninteresting. And only racists fucking like them. Probably 2000 was the last year I followed NBA. I remember when Jeremy Lin was getting all that hate. Getting hate for what? Getting attention, right? We know why Jeremy Lin was getting attention because they're trying to open up the Asian fucking market. The same as this kid that just got drafted by Portland. The same as Yao Ming when he got drafted. Like, people are mental cases. Again, similar to the Caitlin Clark thing. If a Chinese player comes in and isn't as great as the black players, but still is the player that's going to galvanize the Chinese market, a market that has over 1 billion fucking people in China, all the money and marketability this will bring to the NBA that benefits everyone, including the black players. But these fucking people are so fucking focused on fucking race that they get it fucking, they trip over their own feet, right? Caitlin Clark is benefiting the WNBA, all the players. but they'd rather shit on her and fucking ruin their fucking league. Yao Ming comes around, opens up the doors to China. Jeremy Lin, they were hoping would fucking open them up a little more. Didn't, because obviously he's not Chinese to begin with, but he also fucking wasn't that great of a player. He played in a good system that benefited a guard. If Shiro beats Grandma Ali, then she is the GOAT. Carmelo Anthony was hating on Lin bad. Yeah, because he's a fucking jealous prick who was a one-dimensional player who couldn't win in the NBA. Great offensive player, but lazy as fuck on defense. The same things they criticized Luka. Fucking Carmelo was the fucking beginning of that. A guy who won his first year in college, won the NCAA tournament, came in, should have went to Detroit, and would have fucking been better in Detroit, but went to Denver. That was the end of his career. He fucking was a great scorer, but never a winner. He stopped insanity in New York City. Yao Ming was very talented, though. He was just injury prone. Yeah. Stevenson is also overrated. When Diddy got arrested, I was wondering why all these CEOs, mayors, and judges were stepping down. Sounds like there's a racketeering trafficking going on. Oh my God. You know, child fucking stuff throughout the world is huge. Is huge. The amount of politicians, police, judges, important people that are all fucking child molesters and part of this underground ring is fucking huge. And if those fucking kind of files came out and exposed the truth of this situation, it would be so huge. It would probably fucking destroy the economy of America. We saw something similar in Europe, Sweden, when some guy went on an island, killed all these kids, and then it came back to all these people and judges and fucking people that were affiliated with underground. It came out, but then it was fucking washed over really quick. Because this stuff is insidious, man. I mean, they don't tell you how many kids fucking disappear in America and around the world. It's huge. They fucking ignore that. And then focus on stupid bullshit like fucking fake fucking race fucking things. Fake police fucking versus black race fucking issues in America. Whereas, what about all the black kids that are disappearing? Not just black kids, but just as an example. Why aren't people more concerned about that? Disappearing, being exploited, turned into fucking child slavery. Like, this shit is disgusting and huge. And remember that movie that came out exposing it. That movie was fucking, the media ignored it. Ignored it. Tried to hate on fucking, what's his face? The Australian actor, Mel Gibson, who promoted it and produced it by talking about his anti-Semitism. So a guy who works in Hollywood fucking has feelings against Jews. Surprise, surprise. I mean, you know, if anybody deserves to have feelings towards Jews, it's probably somebody that works in Hollywood, considering everybody pulling all the strings are Jewish. The money guys, the producers, the guys fucking that now we know were part of this whole ring with that fucking producer as well. They went to jail. So, but all that was ignored. Mel Gibson is Australian. Yes. Yes, Mel Gibson is fucking definitely Australian. Didn't you watch fucking his movie, his original one? Fucking desert, fucking killing people, driving cars. What's the name of that movie? They end up doing like multiple remakes of it. Fuck. What's that called? I'm hearing rumors now that Trump might pardon P. Diddy. Bullshit. Bullshit. There's no way Trump would pardon P. Diddy. P. Diddy is getting off because all the people affiliated and all the money behind him are never going to let him do much time in jail because they don't want him to expose them. There's something big coming in the world. We should not be fighting over black and white or rich or poor. It's about good and evil. John Boxing still doesn't get it. He still doesn't get it, no matter how many times I tell him that. Like, he will talk about how black men are being pushed down, but make it about black men. Not men, black men. What about white men? And just men in general. Even Asian men. I look at Asian women and Asian men and how fucking the issue is here as well. And I'm like, I'm glad I'm single and not married. Because You know, I appreciate women, I enjoy women, but I don't need to fucking be married with a woman or living with one. I think Moses Atama is being protected. Oh my god. I grant dry turkey fucking with his stupid comments. Being protected. The kid's fucking what, 20 years old? And he's gonna fight Dillian White next. But he's being protected. Okay. I believe that the West has already been divided and conquered. Well, the world has been divided and conquered, right? He didn't blow me away last fight against a 42-year-old linebacker. Oh, okay. Once again, nobody's going to blow you away every single fucking fight they're in. I remember Mike Tyson fights where he didn't blow us away, where guys fucking held him for 12 rounds. He won ugly fights that didn't blow anybody away. He was still the baddest man on the planet, even though his performance wasn't as exciting as we were hoping. That's fucking life, man. Life doesn't always give you what you want, but it gives you what you need. A quote from fucking the great philosopher Jagger. People used to tell me that you were Jewish. Me? I wish. So you are high on Moses? Moses is the future of British fucking heavyweight boxing. And we can't contradict British heavyweight boxing because they've been dominating the sport. Of course, outside of Usyk. But outside of him, every other top fighter is fucking British. But I need to drop the kids off at the pool. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in. I will see you later this week. Obviously, we got fights coming on, and I'm still Sean. I'm definitely not Jewish. Newton, is Newton a Jewish name? I mean, you couldn't get much more English than that, but okay. Yes, Sean Horowitz. That's my name. That's why my channel is doing so big. If I was Jewish, my channel probably would be one of the biggest channels on fucking YouTube. All our moms are 304s. What's the 304? I wouldn't want to say things about other people's moms. I could talk about my mom, but I don't need to talk about other people's moms. My mom is obviously another reason why I'm single at 57 years of age. But thanks everyone for jumping in. I need to run, so I will see you soon. Peace out.